Hello and welcome, my friends, to today's masterclass with Elise Radawitz and Justin Judd on how to implement culture of speed inside your contracting business. Now, I'm your moderator and host today, CJ Todd, and it's great to be here with you all. So over the next hour, we're going to be unpacking why the fastest companies in home services are the ones that are winning the most and how leadership and automation work together to create a true culture of velocity. You'll walk away with practical strategies that you can implement immediately. And I'd like to introduce you to my friend, Elise Radawitz of Velocity Leader. She is one of the most trusted names in leadership coaching in the home service industry. And she brings more than 15 years of experience in HR and talent development. And she's coached hundreds of owners, managers, and teams across HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. She will be referring to several tools today. So this is the one-on-one meeting agenda to help you start running consistent, high-impact check-ins with your team right away. So you can scan that QR code now while you work on pulling that down from the internet. Elise and I have just built a great friendship over the last couple of years, including more than a few times on the golf course. Tee Off for the Trades was our first time golfing together. And let me tell you, she's just as good on the golf course as she is in the leadership development classroom. So grab that free resource, and then let's introduce you to my guy, Justin Judd from Chiirp. So he is the VP of Sales and Partnerships at Chiirp, one of the go-to voices in automation, follow-up systems, growth strategy for the home service industry. He has over 20 years of sales operations, business development experience, and he's helped contractors across the country respond faster, follow up smarter, and turn more of those opportunities into real revenue. Justin also has a resource he'd like to give you today. So Chiirp is sharing 12 follow-up strategies that contractors can implement into their marketing communications immediately to start converting more leads into customers. So here is that link as well, my friends. Now, Justin is just one of those people I respect the hell out of. Every time he shows up, he has a smile on his face. He's willing to serve. And that honestly just is a perfect representation of how Chiirp serves their customers. So let's bring him on stage now. And just really looking forward to getting into today's content. So take it away, guys.
Awesome. Thank you. Excited to be here with you, Elise. I didn't know you were a golfer first and foremost, so that's pretty cool. We might have to go hit the clubs sometime. Thanks everybody for joining. I'm really excited about this. You can chat in on the right-hand side if you have any questions or comments during this. We love to answer those as we go through the content. I'm personally really excited to be on here with Elise today. Number one, because I've gotten to know her over the past couple of years, and I believe who she is as a person and what she does as a company. Number two, because before this webinar even started, we just started having a conversation about leadership and how sometimes it's hard to understand why, some of your employees don't care as much as you do. And, I was honest with her and told her that that's actually something that even I struggle with and that I'm getting coaching for because I'm all in on the business. And sometimes it's hard for me to understand how other people don't care as much as I do. I guess even though I understand it, it's hard for me to accept. And Elise gave me some really good pointers on that. So yeah, let's hop in. Take notes. Elise is really, really good. So she's going to add a ton of value today. Elise, my first question to you would be, how do you think that sometimes leaders unintentionally slow down the business? Is that something that you can talk to?
Of course. Well, even, I mean, I won't overshare what we shared backstage, but right. But like a lot of it, I mean, you're going to hear this a lot, is the delegation piece of it, right? Like they're never going to do it. I mean, exactly the way that you did it, right? You just like letting go of that and knowing that for any of us that are parents, it's the same kind of thing. I have a 9-year-old and I can teach her how to do something, but you most of the time sitting there just being like, just please, I'm thinking about the times in the kitchen for her and I, where I'm just like, I got to let go. She's not going to chop off a finger. Hopefully I showed her how to do it right. So it's the delegation piece of it is the big one. The other one is firing decisions. So I'll give you a story. I was at in California a couple weeks ago for a dealer meeting, and I was doing a one-day workshop and asked all the contractors in the room, what's your biggest leadership challenge? And I had one guy that shared, he's like, well, I got 11 guys and 6 of them need to go. And I was like, okay, I mean, all right. So I go, okay, so you know it. Now what are you doing about it? And he's like, that's the hard part. Like, he goes, I'm old, my back hurts, my knees hurt. And I just like, I don't want to take it on. And I was like, okay, but what's the cost of you not changing that or not removing some of those people? Do you think that the rest of the guys aren't gonna step up? Like, do you think, I mean, aside from physically, like, you're not sure if you can do it. And he's like, I know I got to do it. I don't know how. And I was like, my only encouragement for you is like, instead of thinking about what could go wrong or how it's going to suck to have that conversation and just, it's never fun to fire somebody. I was like, what you're not changing, you're choosing, number one, right? That is a phrase I have in my head a lot, because your best guys, or the ones that are the most bought in, the A players, the ones that are kind of like, lock arms with you and like you're going, they're watching that going, come on, fire this freaking guy. Like, he sucks, like, it's just, there are people that are going to be culture contaminators and culture contributors. And I was like, and I bet you, if you get rid of one of them, you'd see the rest of the guys step up. I said, I just encouraged him to take the step and do the one. And of course it was like throughout the day, he had more ahas and different things. But the big thing was, he was like, dang it, I'm the problem. And I go, yes, Taylor Swift, it's you. Hi, the problem is me, right? Like hey, it's me, I'm the problem, it's me. I was like, sometimes you have those mirror moments and it sucks to go, shit, maybe I'm the problem.
Yeah,
Right?
and that's really what I want to touch on. So a lot of times I'll say, when you learn to go to work harder on yourself than on the business, that's when you really get out of your own way, and the magic starts to happen. So that's kind of what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you want to be that leader worth following, but you have to do it for yourself first before you can model that for other people. And I mean, I've been fortunate to see some great managers in my career and some not so great managers, taking experiences from both. But you and I were talking earlier, like, you can read all the books, all the books, and have all the one-liners and have the quotes ready, but you actually living and breathing that versus just saying it comes across differently. No different than like you practicing what you preach or saying one thing and doing another. Like, you're not going to be that person that people want to follow. And ultimately, that's what I think the gift you give yourself is: work on yourself. Self-development and professional development are the same dang thing. So you're going to be improving as a person, and you want to be that person that people look up to, because of the work that you've done on yourself, to just not give yourself excuses and be like, well, it's just me being me, or I'm doing me, right? Like, that's not exactly what that phrase means, right? Like, no, do the work and explore those parts of you that will make you level up in all areas of your life.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So my question to you would be, how do you personally in your coaching,
Mhm.
how do you get a leader to start taking a hard look at themselves when that may be something that's uncomfortable for them to do? Or maybe they're blaming outside things on what's going on when in reality a lot of it has to do with them. So what's the process you take somebody through to get them to actually take a look at themselves?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I mean, so no different than what you're doing, and I would say you, like, what a manager or leader is doing in their own groups or their own teams. It's creating a place, first of all, that they can have those conversations and know that, like, I'm not gonna ridicule you or judge you or any of that stuff, right? It's so I just shared this with a group last week, that I said, my job as a facilitator. Do you know what the word facilitate means? Like, the definition of it?
I
It
don't.
mean, it means to make it easier. So like,
Okay.
my job as a facilitator is to make the experience for you, I didn't say it was gonna be painless. I didn't say it was gonna be easy, but like, it's kind of like the I got you. Like, I got you. We're gonna move through this. But it starts with me being vulnerable. Like, I share more about my own failures than the wins, because those are the pieces that I think people, when you're in leadership, a lot of times we put this pressure on ourselves to be this like perfect version, or the one that has all the answers or has it all figured out. And what I've noticed and learned over time is people connect with you through your weaknesses more than your strengths. So
That
sharing
is
those.
that is so true. I want to repeat that real quick. People connect with you or relate with you more when you're willing to talk about your weaknesses than your strengths. That is I totally believe that.
It makes you human. It makes you relatable
Yeah.
because whatever, our social media accounts want to look like we got it all together. And, I like, it takes me 10 times to shoot that video. You saw that clip for a minute and a half. You don't see all the crap where I, was stumbling over my words or not doing it perfectly. No, you see the polished product at the end. And that's sometimes what people like, they see you on this, almost on this pedestal, right? Like you have the title, you have all the stuff, and they don't realize like all of the stuff behind the scenes, the waking up at 5 a.m. in a hotel room to knock out a couple emails, or like make sure you're getting a workout in, like doing things for yourself to make sure that you're showing up as the best version of you. So, I mean, I think to answer your question, how I do that is by one, recognizing or acknowledging that it's human. All of us are human. All of us are works in progress. Okay, now with that, let's ask some questions about, a lot of the times I asking questions like, how's that working for you? If you're having turnover in your business or you're having people leave on your team, I would say that is that working the way you want it to? And just sort of like, I start by asking them some questions for them to really just get to know more about where they can improve and what they own in it, because I can't, much as I would love to, I can't control everybody else. I can only control myself. So how I show up is going to dictate a lot of the interactions that I get.
Yeah, I love that. I got a question for everyone. I just chatted it in. What is the number one personal thing that you are working on right now? I would love to hear the different things that people are working on.
For sure.
And since we, just talked about being honest about, how people can connect with weaknesses and stuff, I'll dive in a little bit more about the conversation that Elise and I were just having. So I live, for anyone that doesn't know me, and I try to be open about this in my social media posts and stuff, but I lived a life for so long where I made every excuse in the book, and I played a victim for such a majority of my life and then I changed. And when I changed, I went all in. But so you would think because of all of the experiences that I went through, that I would be like the most compassionate, patient person in the world. That's what you would think, right? Like, oh man, he's been through all that. He must be the most patient person in the world. It actually did the exact opposite thing to me. And so now being in a leadership role where you need to have some sort of patience with the people that you're surrounded with, because not everybody's going to care as much as you do, because I've been at Chiirp from the beginning. But the fact is, hardly anyone is going to care as much as I do, because I eat, breathe, sleep, and live Chiirp. And so I'm personally actually getting some coaching on how to communicate better with my team members, how to lift them up, how to understand that they may not be in the same spot that I am. So anyways, I wish everybody understood that no matter what point of life you're in, everybody needs coaching. If you look at your most successful people, I mean, Tommy Mello has like 5 coaches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So do you ever see that? Like, do you ever see a leader that just feels like maybe they're running a good business and things are working pretty good for them? Do you ever find someone that feels like they might not need coaching and they're just kind of content with where they're at?
Sure, but I think more of often what I'm seeing is they have, to your point, right? They have coaches in other areas. Maybe it's at the gym, they have a personal trainer, or maybe they have somebody that keeps them on track financially. Like there's all these different, if you have a coach in one area, I mean, like I'll give you golf as an example. Like I want to be better. I will invest in a clinic, or just all these different things. Like I want to be better. Like there's always something that you can improve. And so to me, like that's
You've got
part of
that
it.
golf itch. I've had that golf itch before.
Well, yeah, but like it's because there's so many facets to the game. Number one,
Yeah.
like there's all these different, parts. It's never all working in sync. If it is, maybe it's just me and my 20 something handicap, but whatever. There's always different parts of it that you can work on. I mean, like I think I used to run the risk of taking on all of the things. I need to hit my macros and walk 12,000 steps and drink my body weight in water and all this shit, like, and be the best mom and keep the house perfect. And at some point you can't do all of the things. You just can't. So you have to determine like, what is 1 or 2 things that I can do that get me to a better future self in a reasonable amount of time, right? Like I'm restarting basically, it's you don't make all of these changes overnight. It's the decision by decision. Okay, today I'm going to take a walk instead of going to the bar. Yay for me. I'm in Wisconsin. That's just like a real life thing for me, right? Like I could go have a cocktail, or I could go for a walk, or I could get my kid early and have some, whatever. There's all these different points of decisions that we make, and business is no different.
Yeah, I love it. Good stuff. All right, Kelly Williams, Kathy Miller, using data for decision making versus anecdotal information. Kathy, just so you know, Chiirp is right there with you. We are becoming a data-driven company because a lot of it has just been me and Ryan Fenn, and we're like, pew, pew. But we understand that we need to focus more on data-driven decisions. So I love that. Kelly Williams, giving grace and having more patience with employees that don't have the common sense that I believe that they should have. I'm laughing at that because that is basically what I was just trying to explain about myself. And then there was one here that I really wanted to touch on. Staying focused. This is Paul Morita. Staying focused on the important versus distracted by the urgent. That is deep to me right now because we're trying to do that same thing. And so I've got a question for you, Elise. How do you find a healthy balance of speed in leadership versus trying to move so quickly that you're just putting out fires or making the business more crazy?
So yeah, that's a good question. I think, when we talk about that, it's figuring out what are there are certain decisions where speed, you want to actually slow down rather than making a decision quickly. And not to we'll touch on DISC in a little bit here, because there are a few things in here, urgency and pace. Like there are certain styles and I'll tell you about DISC in a second. It's one of the assessments you can take in terms of behavioral assessment, and it's communication style based. So there are definitely different senses of urgency for different people. But one of those things is, are you, and this is something that I do in the very first session of the leadership development program I do for middle managers is, are we leading or are we managing? So when I think of the manager hat tasks, those are going to be the things where I need to make a decision now. Maybe I have two techs that are having a disagreement and I'd like to nip that in the bud. Maybe it's safety issue and one of the vans is missing something, who knows? But there are certain things where a manager has to step in and just tackle the day-to-day getting shit done and prioritizing stuff for themselves and their team. Because I think that's one thing that I've noticed too is sometimes the employees, if it feels very overwhelming, they don't know where to start. That's where a good manager can come in and help them understand, you need to tackle this thing first, or these couple things first. We'll get to the other stuff. Because I would think that a manager or leader would have a bigger picture of what kind of what's coming in, what things are changing. And the employee doesn't always see that. It's mostly sometimes it's reactive. So how can I help them go throughout the course of their day? On the flip side of that, the leadership hat is going to be the stuff where it's I'm casting a vision, I'm coaching my people, I'm navigating maybe change that's coming about that sometimes I can share with my team and sometimes I can't, depending on what the change is. And lastly, it's the accountability factor of okay, if I've set the expectations, the manager hat, I've set the expectations and I've given feedback, how am I holding people accountable to hit the goals of the company, but also remind them of their why? If I can figure out what is the motivation for them, maybe they want to buy a ring for their girlfriend, maybe they want to buy their first house or get a new car. If I can,
everybody has a different motivation, huh?
And they need to be emotionally tied to that though, because they're not gonna, hitting that revenue number or getting that club membership number, cool, but what does that do for me? That's the part where a manager, I want them to pull that out of them.
I really like this. So can you give an actionable takeaway for somebody, how you teach someone to, whether it's a one-on-one or however they do it, how does someone find the thing that the employee has an emotional attachment to? How do you do that?
So it's going to take time. The biggest opportunity, in my opinion, for you to build that relationship with your employees is in the one-on-ones. There are more contractors that I talk to on a regular basis. The thing that separates the one that are able to move and pivot and have that speed is the ones that are dialed in and in tune with their employees. I mean, I have service managers, install managers, like it's a 4-question agenda. It can take 15 minutes. And the
Is
first
this
question
your
is just,
one-on-one framework? Is this what
yeah,
you're going over
yeah.
right now? Okay.
Yeah. And I won't go like too deep into it, but I mean, I'm trying to think of like actionable things that I can give you guys right now. It's just asking them like, what's something that you think you're really great at? What's something that, you know, you did in the last week that you feel like you really nailed, right? As your manager, I probably think there are certain things that, you know, Justin's great at and Elise maybe not so great at. I'm going to put them on jobs that suit their strengths, of course. But like, what are the other things? I want to hear from them. What do you think you're good at? Because I also want to know, like, sometimes they don't know where they're going in their career path. So where do you want to go? How do you want to get there? What are the things you enjoy about your job? Those are things that I can help understand and build that relationship. And then I can get to things like, okay, you know, you say you want to make more money. What does that look like for you? When you do, because I've had people be like, I want to make, you know, 6 figures by the time I'm 30. Okay, what does that mean though? What are you going to do with that money? How is that going to change your life? Or what are you going to, because that helps me understand what they're motivated by. And then disc style, of course, is too, like sometimes so Justin, I'll talk to you, like you said, you mentioned patience or mentioned
What's
like
that?
not getting frustrated. There are different styles and the way that we work. So like a D is going to be that dominant driver. They're going to be like short, quick, to the point, have very little patience, but I can ask them a very blunt, direct question and they'll answer back.
I'm pretty sure I'm a D.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
I'm pretty
right?
sure I'm a D. Let's hear the other ones.
Okay, so I am an I. It's influence. It's outgoing. You know, I definitely pull on. So someone had mentioned like using more data-driven decisions versus emotional. As an I, an influencer, like I'm very much what you see is what you get. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like my data points are probably more story related or emotionally based than factual. At least initially, and I've had to adjust. But if I'm talking to somebody like a D, they're going to push back and be like, well, do you actually know that? Or is just this your buddy and you're kind of like, you know, pulling certain data points? The other one's going to be an S. So S's are going to be like steadiness. That's what the S stands for. Steadiness. They're the peacekeeper. They're the harmony. I'm married to an S. He's great. He balances me out because he's trying to like not ever rock the boat. And he's a really great team player. But they have a abundance of patience, quite frankly. And then C is going to be
find an S in my personal
yeah,
life.
exactly.
But anyways, that's a totally different story.
That's a different topic for another day. We can talk about matchmaking and how that works. And then C is going to be your last one. The C is going to be the person who they're opposite to me in terms of like I is the opposite from C on the disc graph, but they love a system. They love accuracy. They love details. A lot of technicians I'll find in a C or an S role, sometimes a D too, because they just want to get stuff done and keep going. But yeah, the C's are going to be the details, the sticklers for that. Like I love working with the C because I just submitted my expense report last week and I thought, man, I thought I had it all. She comes back and she goes, you submit this receipt. You forgot this total's wrong. I'm like, dang it. Like, can I just do an expense reimbursement for once correctly? No, it turns out, but I'm going to keep trying. But it's like, I love her for that. Like those people thrive on that though. Like double check my work, make sure it's accurate, make sure we're on budget or whatever that looks like. But like, there's a sense of urgency I talked about, right? So D's and I's we share in that fast-paced, outspoken, like we're very quick to, we're very, I don't want to say aggressive. We're active. So
I want to get stuff done.
So do I. So like and I can look at you and go, okay, Justin, what are we doing? When are we doing it? And like shoot you a bulleted list and you're like, cool, blah, 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 blah. Like if I do that to an S or a C, I will railroad them. I'll steamroll them. They do not love being put on the spot. They do not love being pushed for an answer or a timeline. Like help them. They can help absolutely create that. Or if it's a C, like help me build the timeline and make sure I'm hitting those deadlines. But there's definitely a pace and an urgency that we have to understand in the workplace. And even this came up on a coaching session with contractors this morning. It also, like if you think about where conflict or arguments come in home, it's a lot of times it's like the sense of urgency. Somebody wants to run and the other one's like, I just hold on. Like they're just like, you're moving so fast, right? It's no different. Like those styles are going to have conflicts. It's how we can't control the other person as much as I would love to. If I bark out orders at my husband being like, let's move, I'm not going to have a great quality of relationship out of that conversation. And we've been together 18 years now. So like, I know this, right? And I'm starting to like, oh, so if I don't, but I work with a bunch of D's in my career. Like I work with a bunch of, for whatever reason, I have worked with a lot of D's. So when I need something done or when I need an answer, I'm totally fine with being direct and blunt and getting to the point. If that version of me walks through the door, we will not have a great marriage. I've seen it. I've experienced it. So that's on me to adjust my pace and go, maybe I'm going to be a little more contemplative. Hey, what are we thinking about for, this thing? Or I was thinking about, like, I have to be more contemplative and not looking for an answer right away, because that's not going to get me the result that I want.
Yeah, man, this is good stuff. I'm like relating a lot of this to myself right now. I've got two things. Number one, everyone go ahead and chat in. Do you think you are a D, I, S, or a C? I'd love to see what people think they are. And that includes my colleague and fellow killer, Ryan Peterson. So go ahead and write in whether you think you're a D, I, S, or a C. The second thing I have is, Elise, do you do disc training? And how beneficial is that for a company to know their people's like communication styles and the way that they like to work?
Yeah, I incorporate it in everything, whether it's a leadership development program people are going through. It's part of that baked into the program already, because it's huge for just unlocking that self-awareness piece if you've never done it before. And absolutely, I've done it with sometimes it's the owner or manager going through one of my programs and then going, man, this is awesome. Can I do this for the rest of my team? So yeah, absolutely, we can, and I've done them virtually even too. It's as good as the facilitator is in terms of the content, but yeah, it's they all get to understand what the styles are of the different people that they work with. And then really it's for them to know, okay, well, there's always opportunity to get better and to have better communication or relationships. And what I'm finding out is that once they learn about that, now it's really, okay, well, how do we take this and make this part of our culture and what we do? I know we want to talk about how.
Is that a long process?
It's 15 minutes to take the assessment, and from there we can do
it. Is it a long process to actually get something like that implemented in a business where you kind of know what each employee is and what their strengths are and how to communicate with them? Does that take a while?
No, I mean, really, like it does. Everybody has access. Like if you go through it, I'll give them access on a website where I can actually put together, and you'll be Justin and Justin's team. And so all of your direct reports will see their style. You'll see their style. And then it'll actually even give you different tips and tricks. Like, hey, I'm having a hard time connecting with this person, or I'm having a hard time. Maybe, I'm getting in conflict with this person, and it gives you kind of like different tips and stuff. Yeah. The hardest, I think the thing that I see is, you'll do it once and then be like, oh yeah, we did that. And I'll be like, okay, but what did you, like, you took the assessment. What are you doing with the information that you have? I mean, I have contractors right now, they have like a wheel, like one of those dry erase wheels, and they write down an objection, but they also write down a disc style, and they have the technicians straight up role play it and be like, okay, you're walking into a house with a D style homeowner and they're giving you this objection. How do you handle it? That's how you make it more than just, yeah, we did that thing that one time. I have others that remote teams, and they put their style in parentheses behind their name. So it'd be like Elise Radawitz, I, in parentheses. And then I'd remember when I'm talking to that person that I need to adjust my communication style that way.
You bring up a good point. I just want to jump in real quick. You bring up a good point, Elise, regarding homeowners too, right? So if you know the style of your employee and you can identify a style of a homeowner, maybe it makes more sense to dispatch one employee to that homeowner because they're good at communicating with that style than another one. So that's another layer to add.
Interesting. That would take things to a whole nother level.
Yeah, especially think about your outside salesperson too, having that same knowledge and being able to recognize within a couple questions. And I can even give you guys those questions right now. I mean, like, what is that person fast-paced? Are they talking fast, walking fast? Like, you can pretty much pick up on that. And then are they more cautious and reflective? Are they a little more quieter? Like there's some things you can kind of gauge right away to figure out what style that person might be, and then connect with them better. If they're talking quicker than you, or they're, you know, cutting you off, or who knows what. Like, there's just some things that you can pick up on to know what their style is. And man, it would be way better to connect with the homeowner in the home quicker. I don't think anyone would disagree with that, right? Speed
Yeah.
of trust, speed of connection in a home is huge, no different than on your team. So that's
Yeah.
really what it's giving you. Yeah.
I love it. By the way, thank you everyone for your participation. We got Mason who's coming in with a high D. We've got Kelly coming in with a D with C tendencies. We've got Ryan Peterson with a big C. And so thank you for your participation. All right, where I want to go next, your one-on-one framework. I'm not sure if we quite hit on that. I would love to give people a actionable takeaway that they could go and implement in their business, whether they, you know, use our coaching or not. So can you walk us through the one-on-one framework? I saw that somebody in here, oh yeah, Mason said 10 minutes of you talking, 20 minutes of you listening, learn about your people, learn about them as people. Now, before you go in, I also want to take some ownership here because we said being honest is good. This is something I struggle with, the one-on-one stuff. And the reason I struggle with it is because I like to move quick. And, okay, and I have freaking killers on my team. You know, Ryan Peterson's on my team and a guy named Korth Rushdie, and they're both freaking killers. And I know that they're going to get their stuff done. Now, that being said, I feel like we could be moving a lot quicker if I was to just take the time to do more one-on-ones and implement some of this stuff that you're talking about. So I want to learn this for myself, but can you walk us through the one-on-one framework?
I can. I want to address two things that I heard you say. Okay.
All right.
You as a D, I just want to recognize this. Your natural tendency is you're going to want to dive into work. You and D's and C's love they gravitate to task-based things.
Yeah.
I's and S's are your people. They want time to talk, to be asked questions, to like, I am a talker. I have struggled with listening, to be perfectly frank with all of you. My husband just walked in the door. I'm sure he can come on here and tell you a whole bunch of stuff. But so that's one thing I just want to recognize. Like for you, Justin, you're gonna need to be more intentional about putting time in to do. How was your weekend? What's something you're looking forward to for this week? You know, personal, professional. Like it's gonna take a little more intentionality on your end to remember to talk about just the people outside
That's totally
of the
true.
right.
That's totally
whereas
true. I just want to talk about like, all right, where are we at? What are we doing?
Get the scorecard out. Let's freaking go. Yeah, and that's not a bad thing. It's just something to be aware of, right? Like, so Ryan's a C. Okay, he's probably with you on just like heads down, let's get to work. But the connection part of it, you know, even, and I know you guys are friends outside of work, which is awesome, but like, don't forget about the connection piece, because if it comes time to correct somebody, then it's easier to correct. You have to connect before you correct, before you do any of that. You have to have the trust in the relationship. So that's where the one-on-one comes in. Now, the other thing I think that I want to make a note of, because it sounded like there was a potential perspective shift that you could look at.
Yeah.
And part of this is that you want to get the work done. Totally get it. It was like taking the time and giving yourself, even just telling yourself a different story. Like, I have 15 minutes right now to spend with this person. And I'm going to look at, like, it's not about, be intentional about prioritizing your people on your calendar, because you're going to get more out of them just from having that consistent touch base. And I'll tell you, like, as someone who I loved my one-on-ones because it made me feel like a priority instead of like an annoyance or a problem. If I had a problem, I don't necessarily want to wait until my one-on-one. But at least those managers that gave me that time told me that I was a priority in their world, because all of us are busy. It's a 4-letter word. I had a mentor that told me that. Busy is a 4-letter word. I have time. That makes me feel valued and heard, and an opportunity for me to bring you things. And the other thing I would say is feedback is built into the agenda too. So the one-on-one agenda, sometimes as managers, we never have any idea if we're doing it right. Like some of us are like, I hope I'm not screwing it up. I hope I'm not screwing them up. Like, I don't even know, right? Part of that agenda is saying, what have I done as your leader that has been helpful for you? And what have I done as your leader that's not been helpful? Like, how am I maybe I'm the roadblock, right? And these are the conversations that we're modeling for people to, it's not like every time we have an annual review, it feels like heavy. And this is just feedback's part of what we do here. And it's a two-way street. I'm going to ask you for feedback, and I'm also going to ask you how things are going. And this is by me asking you feedback. Hey, how's it going? What's something that maybe got frustrated for you in the last week? It opens up the door for me to go, yeah, actually, I've seen something similar. Do you mind if I share? And it just becomes this like us leveling each other up within a 15-minute conversation.
And Elise, I want to hop in real quick and let everybody know that you do have a feedback framework that is also another free resource that I dropped a link to in the chat. So if you want to maybe touch on that for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, feedback is huge. If you're if you're uncomfortable giving it or receiving it, that is totally normal, where you're just like, I don't know how to, I'm awkward with giving feedback, or I'm not comfortable receiving it. I mean, all of us has different experiences in our life. Some of us were told we can be anything we want to be and we can do anything we want to do. And other ones were like, yeah, good luck. Yeah, good luck with that, right? It's just like a very different, I think that feedback is such a game changer in terms of how you can communicate with somebody. But the ones where more often than not, I see like, hey, Justin, great job on X. Thanks for everything you do. And you're like, okay, but like, that's not, how did that feel for you? Did you know anything about what did you do well? What did you not do well? What if I was like, hey, Justin, thanks so much for staying late last night to work on that presentation for that customer. I was able to get out of here and go to my kid's soccer game. Man, I just thank you so much for doing that. It takes a whole different meaning, right? Like,
totally different.
Because you would have thought, oh, it's no big deal. No, I want you to know that you taking that time made it a big deal. So it's the feeling, behavior, and impact. It's a 3-part. You can use it for whether they're doing something well or whether they're doing something that maybe should be stopped. Like, this is a career limiting behavior. And I'm pointing this out because I care about you. And that's kind of the shift to make too, is just how do I give feedback in a way that has the impact, because I want you to understand the ripple effect that your behavior has in other people, which some people just don't understand. So this is my opportunity to help them, right?
Man, is everyone listening to this? I feel like we're having a coaching session on here a little bit with me and you, but this is how coaching works. This is the power of coaching. And Elise, it's actually been really cool to see you answer some of my questions and go through this, because I'm getting a better idea of what you do. I have another question for you. You talk a lot about leaders being able to speed up what's going on in the business by sharing their vision.
Mm-hmm.
By sharing their vision. I think you say that you can't share your vision enough, and how that gets people to buy into moving quicker. Can you dive into that a little bit?
Sure. So yeah, I mean, yes, I don't think you can over communicate a vision. I think that, in terms of like getting people bought in, and even where we started this conversation, Justin, where you're like, they will probably never care to the level that you care. I mean, I would love that, right? Like, as an owner, I would love for my employees to give a shit about my company as much as I do and have a vested interest. What a vision does is it helps them understand, okay, here's where we're at, here's where we're going. But the big piece is, here's how you contribute in your position. As a CSR, it's important for you to do blah, 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 blah. Like even if let's say you got a new like service titan or something came in, it's like, sometimes we can feel like it's documentation and it's extra work and nobody looks at it. And you're like, but here's the why. And here's where you can contribute, and us all having the same information, like there's just, it's going to help all of us. When we win a customer or when we lose a customer, all of us feel that, right? If we lose one of our best customers, it's on the outside salesperson to make that revenue up. It's on the technician to make that up somewhere else, maybe upselling or IAQ or who knows what, but like all of us win and lose collectively. So that's where we have to start understanding the vision is all of us collectively contributing to it, and then getting that emotional tie-in, that piece of like, but what does that mean for you, Justin? What does that mean for CJ, for Ryan? What does that mean?
Yeah, I love it. I have a question for everyone. Ryan asked a really good question. How do you convert overall vision into smaller actionable tasks to reach the vision? So Elise, maybe we can ask you that. How do you convert overall vision into smaller actionable tasks to actually reach that vision? And then I would like to ask everyone on here, what are you doing to relay your vision to your company? What are the things that you're doing? So, Elise, can you touch on that a little bit?
So the last few companies that I've worked with, or for, I should say, have followed EOS. It's based on the book Traction. EOS is a really great,
EOS, man.
I love it. I think
You?
it's yes, I do, because it gives you a very clear path to exactly what Ryan's talking about. There are town
It's a
halls.
long-term play, though.
It is a long-term play,
It's
but
a
you're putting
long-term play.
it's
It
the
takes
it's
about
the
2 years to actually, and I'm not going against what you're saying. I actually want
you're
to
okay.
implement. I'm just saying, I think this is the stuff that a lot of people are going to be asking themselves. From my understanding, if you want to implement a system like EOS, you have to kind of commit to a couple of years before it's actually really in place and you start seeing results from it.
Totally, but you're not wrong about that at all. There are disciplines and pieces of EOS that I think you can start doing right now. If you're they have this like vision building day, right? But like essentially, what are you doing 5 years, 3 years, a year out? Okay. What are you doing? And that overall, that vision number, even if it's a number or whatever that looks like, right? What can we do in the next year? And then break that year down into quarters. We had touch bases every single, like all company, all hands. I'm going to share the vision. We're going to tell you where we're going. Scorecards are huge to make sure that we're measuring the right stuff, that we can make sure we're actually on track to hit those goals. Because so often shiny objects come up or somebody's friend does this thing and then we get all of a sudden it's here. What I like is the discipline that EOS gives. It's like, we put all this stuff on the issues list. We are not touching it right now. We are focused on these things right now this quarter. And every quarter we're having a touch base and an L10, an L10 every week. I tried every other week. What ends up happening is we regurgitate the same shit that we talked about the week prior, and we end up not having productive meetings. There are a lot of things that I love EOS for, and the biggest one is the discipline of having a really dang good meeting that's not a waste of time. So yeah, that's what I would say to that is just the scorecards help communicate the vision. If you can have your managers take the lead on what good KPIs or metrics would be for those scorecards, that's where we can make sure that all of us are aligned, moving in the same direction to hit that vision. And it also gives people ownership within those departments to kind of be like, well, what does that mean if we have this revenue number or this thing? What does that mean to me in marketing or me in technicians, whatever? Like there's all those different things. That's how we can have everybody understanding what they're shooting towards. Does that make
Awesome.
sense?
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. If anybody has any questions or any comments, please chat in right now. Elise, I have one more question for you. What is one actionable takeaway that a leader on this call or anyone on this call could go and implement in their business this week to create velocity?
Put time in your calendar to talk to your people. I'm not saying you have to do a one-on-one tomorrow. Put 15 minutes, put 10 minutes on your calendar to just check in with your people. How's it going? How are things going? I just think that sometimes we get so caught up in the work and we forget about the people. And you have to get the work done through people. So put time on your calendar to make them a priority. Put 5 minutes on your calendar tomorrow to give feedback to somebody. I'm sure there's somebody you can give feedback to. I know there is. Positive or negative. Gratitude is huge. It creates ripple effects and you start looking for more good. That would be my one thing. Give someone gratitude tomorrow.
Dang, I love it. When you said that, put time on your calendar to make time for your people, that was your one takeaway. I thought to myself, oh, Justin, you need to freaking put time on your calendar for your team and your people. So thank you. I am going to commit right now to actually going through with that. I've been wanting to do it for a while, but I need to do it. So thank you. That's really good stuff.
You said it out loud, so now there's more accountability for you.
I know. Right.
No, it's no,
Ryan Peterson chat has been documented.
You said it out loud. It's being recorded. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do it. Mason says, having time for people is the first step toward building a work culture that people want to be a part of. Man, that's awesome, Mason. Mason, what do you do out of curiosity? Appreciate you being so active in the chat. I would love to know what you do. Well, sweet, Elise. That is some really, really good stuff. It really has been good to talk to you like this and understand kind of
Sure.
what you do.
Mason's the general manager. He gets it. That's why it's on his mind because you're not always in the field. And sometimes I would say that too. If somebody's like, if you're in the office, I've had guys who are like, man, I need to get out in the field. I just need to get out with my guys more. Okay.
Yeah.
It depends on where you're at, right?
Yep.
Yeah, guys, this has been super awesome. And I want to get into a quick lightning round where I'm going to ask both of you guys to consider different business tactics and rank them on a scale of 1 to 10 to see how important speed is there. But before we do that, I want to launch a quick poll. Like I said, Elise and Justin are both going to be available for free strategy calls after today's session. So if you want to take advantage of that, I recommend everybody does. Just select the business that you'd like to connect with, either Velocity Leader and Elise, or Chiirp with Justin, or maybe both. But what they're going to be able to do is help you take some of the things that we learned today and create a plan on how to implement that into your business to really have a successful 2026. And we didn't really get into too much about Chiirp and what Chiirp does, but Elise, I think you have a question or two for Justin about speed to lead and how automations can really simplify things. So you want to take that over real quick?
Yeah, because I'm actually really curious to hear Justin's answers on that. So in terms of like common pain points that you see in contracting businesses or home service businesses, where's something where the follow through usually drops off that you can implement automation?
Yeah. So I'm actually in Tempe, Arizona right now. Me and the rest of the executive team flew out here to Gettle, to their office in Phoenix location. We just built a case study with them and we went there to shoot some video testimonial. But I think this is kind of the perfect segue here. Gettle was known for a strong sales follow-up process. Like that's what they were known for. Ken Goodrich built that into their processes, but still, they didn't have any kind of automated follow-up on open estimates. Okay. So they implemented Chiirp and they saw a 9% increase in open estimate conversion just by implementing automated follow-up on any open estimate. A 9% increase may not seem like a lot, but for a company like Gettle, for one location, that was $752,000 of revenue that they recollected or collected because they didn't have any automated follow-up system in place. And so I would say that would be the number one thing is contractors are spending a ton of money on leads. They're spending money to get their people out to give an estimate. And, unfortunately, sometimes they're just not going to close in the home. And if we don't have some kind of automated follow-up process for all of those open estimates, we're just leaving a ton of money on the table. And it's not something that's very hard to do. You can create that sequence exactly like you want to. You can have as many touch points as you want to. The wording and the text messages and the emails can be exactly what you want it to be. So it's not a super heavy lift. And the amount of revenue that it will pick up is pretty extraordinary.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, because I knew there had to be parts like there's obviously there's always friction points or opportunities where you can put automation in place. Sometimes it's just thinking creatively around that. Are there anything else? Like, I mean, I think a lot of times it can feel overwhelming to look at your day-to-day operations. Is there any other part that automation helps in the business?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's really like endless. If I was to kind of get specific, so automation, a lot of people think, automation is not there to take the human out of it. Automation is there to plug the holes in your business where leads are slipping through the cracks and allow your team to focus on what they're good at and focus on high opportunities. And so the automation is just there running on in the background and it frees your team up to do the things that they're really good at doing. And so one of the other, automations that we see it seems super simple, but companies are making a ton of money from is a simple text message on any missed call.
Hmm.
So again, we spend thousands of dollars to get the phones ringing. Well, sometimes we miss phone calls. If we're not connecting with that missed call right away, chances are they're going to go somewhere else. We do not have attention spans as human beings anymore. And so with Chiirp, if a contractor misses a call, we can send out a text message in real time. They can put their booking link in there and people can book directly through that link. So Aaron Gaynor with Eco Plumbers did over $250,000 through that one campaign his first week. As simple as it may seem, a missed call text message is super powerful. And again, it frees your CSRs up to do other things because generally speaking, it's your CSRs that are supposed to take all of those missed calls and follow up with them later on. And so if you have that automation in place, now you're freeing your CSRs up to do more important things.
Yeah, and some customers might actually want to, they may prefer not talking to a human and just being like, I'll just book it online. Like I'd rather just, I don't have to
Over
talk to anybody.
50%.
Okay, yep.
Over 50% booked through that booking link as opposed to even texting back or calling back.
Might be
Love it.
faster for them too. All
Yep.
right, CJ, I know you want to
You
do
guys-
lightning round questions.
You guys ready for this lightning round?
We're ready.
All right, remember, 1, speed doesn't matter. 10, better do it right when we get off this call. All right, here we go. Number 1, speed to lead for new incoming calls or web inquiries.
10.
10.
Can he rate everything as a 10 though?
No, I know. I was actually, if he was going to say in general how important is speed, I was going to say 9. And the only reason I wasn't going to go 10 is because sometimes you got to slow down to speed up. But like in regards to that specific question, it's a 10, 100%. If you don't contact a lead within 1 minute, your chances of converting that lead drop in half.
Wow.
Again, it's because we don't have attention spans as human beings anymore. So
Yeah.
True. Speed to internal communication.
Ooh, speed to internal communication.
It depends. That's situational, but I would say,
Lightning round, guys. Come on.
Okay,
8.
I'm gonna go ahead and go with a 7.
Okay. I said 8, by the way.
Okay, you said 8.
Speed to cross department handoff. So like CSR to tech to sales, etc.
I'm 8.
I'm 8 too.
Speed to technician training and onboarding.
You're dead in the water if you don't have that. 10.
Speed,
right,
speed to hiring.
This one,
Ooh.
no. Hire slow, fire fast. If you know that they're not a good fit, out. But take your time when you interview. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
So you
like
think
2.
you're gonna go 2, huh? You think hire slow, fire fast instead of hire fast, fire fast?
You can convince me otherwise.
All right, I'm gonna go 5 there.
Maybe
Okay.
seasonal too, like hire
Well, for
fast
sure.
summer,
Yeah,
fire
that's
fast
true.
fall.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's fair.
Speed to resolving cultural or personal issues.
Ooh.
Oh, that's so
I'm gonna go 9.
personal and cultural are completely different. I would say 9 cultural and like 4 personal. Because I can't, those
Yeah,
are
that's
2
a good
different things in business. Yeah.
If you can't tell I'm a D, I want to answer 10 to everything. So.
Yeah, everything is important. We get it.
Speed to presenting customers options.
10.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to take that back. I'm going to go 7. And the reason I do that is because, at least for us, we're starting to realize if we give too many options, it actually slows stuff down.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
That's for us personally.
What's
Yeah.
the right amount of options? And maybe it's different, like SaaS solutions to
Yeah,
homeowner
for
solutions.
SaaS, we're really big on what's the freaking book right now? Alex Hormozy, Scaling Your Business. But basically it's like we're trying to make our offer as simple as possible. So
Right.
we're still in the process of dumbing it down.
For sure. Speed to implementing new processes or tools.
See, this one, I don't rate that as high because I think that you need to take time in making sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. You gotta understand the why behind it.
I'm gonna say 3 on that one.
I was thinking 4. Okay.
I'll mirror that. I was working with a client who, like, within 3 weeks was just like dead set on switching from Go High Level to some other CRM platform and switch back like 2 months from there.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that's
just options given too quickly might be options that don't discover the real issue.
Totally. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Speed to decision making among leadership.
Oh shit.
It's gotta be fast.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 9.
Yeah.
Yep. Speed to strategic planning.
Ooh.
Like a
Speed
5. I mean, you got to get it done. You can't sit there and like,
I'm
worry
gonna
about the plan.
I'm gonna go 7 on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speed to adjusting price or options.
Oh,
so you're right. Throws of that, Justin.
Yeah,
How long is it taking you guys?
It's been tough, dude. I'm gonna go a 5 because you got it. That's something so important that you got to make sure you do it right.
Yeah, I'd say it's situational. It's 5.
Okay, a couple more. Speed to addressing recurring workflow issues or bottlenecks.
Oh, I'm gonna go 8.
Yeah, I was gonna say 10 because that one feels like a get it fixed right now, or you're gonna have pissed off customers and employees.
And feel free to chat about this because I think it's going to bring up a little bit of debate. Speed to adopting AI.
Oh,
that's
5.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm gonna go 5. You want to know why?
Yes.
Tell me.
Dude, we were freaking talking to the CEO of Gettle about this today, Jake Gress, and he's like, dude, with all this talk about AI, but yet these companies have so many broken holes in their systems and processes, the AI can only work as good as your data is. And so if you have all of these holes in your business, the AI is not going to be able to do much for you. You know, one clear example for companies that we work with is they want to implement all of this AI, and they're not even doing speed to lead on their lead forms, right? And it's like, that's just one example, but you know, speed to lead on your lead forms is automation. That's totally different than AI. And so there's all of these areas in their business that they're not even aware of where they could really increase efficiency and increase conversion, yet they're so focused on AI because everybody's talking about it. So I would say 5.
Yeah, so I liked what Ryan dropped in chat saying that learning it is more important than implementing it. I would agree. I think you need to learn what the capabilities are and then figure out for yourself what makes sense to implement in your business.
Yep.
And what Mason said was exactly what Jake
100%
was saying is bad AI is just garbage in, garbage out, but faster and without supervision.
Yep.
Well, guys, thank you both for your time. This has been a super awesome session. The expertise on both sides is incredible. Is there anything you want to leave our audience with today, both of you?
Elise, I just appreciate everybody being here, and I appreciate the opportunity I had to get a coaching session today. So
I appreciate the engagement we had. I love that everybody made it like the chat and made it about them. This is not for us to sit here and talk for an hour. I wanted to make sure it was valuable for the people on the call. So thank you for engaging, and I'm glad we provided value for you, and hopefully a few things you can do to take and implement in your business tomorrow.
Yep, I agree.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again, guys. And thank you for everyone who showed up today, investing in yourself and making sure your businesses run more smoothly. And we'll see you on the next call.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.